Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. I'm Mike Catalana. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our content as we close in on 25,000 subscribers. We have a special guest for this week. For the first game of the year, and you know we do this every week, speak to a reporter who covers the team that the Bills are playing. And this week, we are proud to have with us Jeane Coakley from SNY. She's the Jets beat writer. She's covered the team for a long time. Janae, welcome to Buffalo Plus.
I'm so excited to be here. We've got quite the game to talk about.
Yeah, I would say so. And I want to ask you this about the Jets. What's it like to have the Jets be so relevant?
Well, this is my 14th season covering the Jets. Every year there's something exciting about the Jets. This year it's fun. I mean, last year they started off relevant, obviously very exciting, but they finished the year kind of, not the way they wanted to. It's been a lot of fun because I really like these guys. This is a good group of guys. I mean, from Garrett Wilson to Sauce Gardner, this young core group of guys that you want to root for them. Like you want to watch them. You want to cheer them on because they're just good kids. And then on top of it, you add a future Hall of Famer in the name of Arron Rodgers. It's like, welcome to New York. The Jets are always going to be making headlines. However, it's kind of fun that they're making headlines because they're supposed to be very good this year.
All right. So what's it like to have Arron Rodgers been around?
Full disclosure, everybody's like, well, is it crazy with Hard Knocks? Is it crazy with Arron Rodgers, the media? Not really. I'll be honest with you. You didn't realize it at all. I mean, the thing that was the worst about training camp is that we had to go an extra 10 days because of the Hall of Fame game we had to play in. But Arron is what you expect. He's that future Hall of Famer. Watching practice is awesome because he can just control an offense. He can just watching him throw, watching him manipulate defenses. It's just a lot of fun because it's been a while since we've been able to watch a quarterback in practice be as good as someone like Arron Rodgers. And not a lot of people get to watch a future Hall of Famer.
That's a great point. I used to ask my friend who works for the Patriots, I go, what is practice like? Because, they went 20 years in Buffalo without making the playoffs. Bad quarterback play. And his thought was, the ball never hits the ground. Now, that may be a bit of an exaggeration. Mm-hmm. But the idea was just when there's a quarterback like Tom Brady, the ball's out of his hands. And now the Bills have Josh Allen. So at least we know kind of what that feels like.
Mm-hmm. And before I was with the Jets, I was in Indianapolis. And I was in Indianapolis when Peyton Manning was running that offense. So that's what I expect. I mean, that was the first NFL team I covered a long time ago. I was 18 years ago. And I just thought that's the way it was supposed to be. I mean, this guy was the first in the building, the last to leave. He just commanded respect. He commanded an offense. I mean, and like you said, practice was like a game because in his mind, if we practiced the way we played, then on game day, it was easy. So that's what you watched, the way he was calculated, the way he did everything, how good he was. And then fast forward to, 14 years later, after covering a bunch of young quarterbacks, a lot of different quarterbacks, not really ever having a future, Hall of Famer quarterback at the New York Jets. It's really cool to see because they all kind of work the same way. It's a different, like you said, a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, a Patrick Mahomes. I think they all have this set in their mind, and Arron Rodgers. It's pretty cool to watch.
How have his teammates reacted to him? Because, look, I mean, we watched the Jets last year, and I thought they had a really good team with poor quarterback play. And now you bring Arron Rodgers in. I'm going to guess he's been pretty popular in camp.
It is crazy because we had an interview with him last week, and I actually asked him, what's it like knowing that you've completely elevated this team, elevated the whole building, the fan base, the players. I mean, there was not one player who came to the podium during training camp that was not asked about Arron Rodgers, whether defense, offense, special teams, anybody. What's it like playing for Arron Rodgers? What have you learned from Arron Rodgers? What's this? What's that? I mean, every teammate, just like you said, I mean, this was a team that was very good. They were just missing that quarterback. Well, then you not only get a quarterback, you get a Arron Rodgers type quarterback. So the players, I mean, he is the most popular kid on campus, and he makes it a point to know everybody's name. He makes it a point to know, in the cafeteria, he sits with a different player every day. He makes it intentional to get to know his teammates, and his teammates feel that, including the defensive players. Great story. I interviewed Quinnen Williams, and I was like, what did you learn from Arron Rodgers? Because again, you have to ask about Arron Rodgers. And he's like, the thing I learned about him is that he would come up to me after a play and be like, hey, I saw this, Quinnen. You did this. You confused me with this. I like this, but work on this, work on that. He's like, and do me a favor and go tell an offensive lineman what you saw and what they did in practice to make them better. Like, I never thought, like, so at the end of practice, he's like, but I'm going to wait till after practice to correct their mistakes. So like, he'll go up to the offensive lineman and AVT, and just tell him, hey, listen, I saw you do this on this move. You moved this way. I saw it in your eyes that way. So that's how the effect that Arron Rodgers have had on these guys.
How has the media been with him in general? I know I always get mad when somebody uses the phrase of the media, and then here I just used it because everybody is a little different. But we hear about the big bad New York media and how they're going to handle things. How do you think it's been back and forth with Rodgers and the New York media?
Listen, it's been great. Like I said, completely great. Now, it's a honeymoon right now. I mean, everything is great. I mean, they've won the Super Bowl on paper. I mean, granted, this is what the media and everybody's talking about. I mean, this is a Super Bowl team. And listen, the team embraces that. They want that. But I think Joe Douglas said it. Listen, you don't win games from excitement. You don't win. I mean, you do nothing with excitement. So they know they have to prove this. But again, it's the honeymoon phase right now. So get back to me week 10, whatever, when that second game we play, and I'll get back to you on how it's been. But right now, everything, I mean, he talks, he speaks a lot. I mean, he answers every question. He thinks about the questions. But again, it's the honeymoon phase.
So you mentioned the honeymoon phase. To me, it almost seems like he's going to be on his best behavior too, right? He had 2 decades almost with the Packers. Now here he is walking in, and he wants to look like the guy. Mm-hmm. And he already has been. But, there was some criticism in Green Bay with the way he handled things. Do you think that's been a conscious thing by him? Or do you think this is the way, or at least get the impression this is the way he's always been?
I think, again, he was, 19, 18 years he was with Green Bay? I mean, you get comfortable, you get used to it. And now he gets a chance to reinvent himself almost. I mean, I never covered him in Green Bay. I don't know what he was like. I haven't really spoken to a lot of reporters in Green Bay. I can just speak on what I know. And it seems, and he'll even say, I get to reinvent myself. Like, he gets a whole no chance to be someone different. And he's going in, obviously, his latter years of his career. I don't think he'll play another 19 years. I mean, I don't think he's, who knows? Look at Tom Brady, played till he's 45. I give him 3 or 4, but he's also in the biggest market, New York. You have the Knicks, you have, the MSG, he's at Broadway plays. I don't think football is necessarily his future, obviously. And I think you can see him doing other things in the next 4 or 5 years, and you're in the perfect market to do it. So I think he's embracing the fact that I have an opportunity to reinvent myself and be someone else, or to grow upon who I already am. And he said, he's like, I've learned. You made mistakes, you learn. He's been in this for 19 years. He understands that some guys need hugs, some guys need tough love, some guys. So I think it's all a matter of learning and a new job, a new situation, and again, New York has embraced this man. This man is a savior right now. And again, that's one of the questions, like, how crazy is that to think, like, you are this guy, like, you are the savior of this team. That's got to be a little intimidating.
How long is the honeymoon period? I mean, you start right out, Bills, Jets, Monday Night Football. If it doesn't go well, do you feel like, even though he's been around forever and the Jets should be good this year, people are expecting greatness right away?
Yeah, well, welcome to New York, right? New York City, you better do it now. However, I think the Jets realize their first 5 games are tough because it's Buffalo Monday night. And again, that defense, it's going to be awesome to see 2 great offenses going against 2 great defenses. I think it'll kind of show you where this team really is at. Then they go to Dallas. Then they host the Patriots, which again, it's the Patriots and it's Bill Belichick, and they've always been under the Jets' skin. And then they host Patrick Mahomes and the Green Bay Packers, and then Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they head out to Denver to play the Broncos. So I think they realize, and then they have a bye week. I think these first 6 games, you got to go at least 4-2, and then and you know how New York is, and you got to be in every single game.
You mentioned Garrett Wilson. I got a chance to talk to him right before the draft in Las Vegas, and I had seen him play. Obviously, he was a great college player, but I was very impressed by the guy. Young age, seemed very mature, ready to go. And man, he's hit the ground running. It's not always that easy for a wide receiver, especially with the quarterback play last year. How high is the ceiling for Garrett Wilson?
Like you just said, look at the quarterback play last year. He had 4 different quarterbacks and was still Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, is to see what he can do with an Arron Rodgers throwing the ball. He's phenomenal. I mean, even Aaron compares him to Devontae Adams, and he's like, listen, I'm not saying that's who he is now, but that the 17s are very similar. He'll do things in practice, and you're just like, you're only a second-year guy. I don't think you're going to see much of a second-year drop-off. I mean, and this is a kid who came into this year was like, well, I still have so much to prove. Okay, last year was last year. I don't care. I was Offensive Rookie of the Year. I want to be better. And he goes up against a guy like Sauce Gardner every single day. And Sauce is just as talented, just as dominant in his position as Garrett is in his. So it's really fun to see the two of them. And like I said earlier, when I'm telling you, like, you want your son to grow up to be kids like this, they're so respectful. They talk to everybody. They never say, if you have a media request, you know how that is. Some of the stars get so many media requests. They're like, no. They'll do every single one. They have a smile on their face. Garrett's always like, Miss Janae, how are you doing? Like, they're just such good kids. And you don't hear that about, and you hear it from everybody. It's not just like, oh, he's nice here, he's nice to you. He's like, no. The entire locker room loves him. Down to like the cafeteria staff there. He is like the nicest kid. And it's a little cocky, but you have to be in that position. But like, you want that to be, not boastful, just Garrett. He's just such a nice kid. I can't speak more highly of him.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what Breece Hall does this year. He had looked so good in the beginning. Where is he now physically? And how do you think they'll split that up with Cook?
To hear him talk, he's 99.9%. I mean, he looks good when he came back and practice and stuff. But the nice thing is they need Breece at the end of the season. They don't really necessarily need Breece right away. So I feel they're going to ease him in, especially now that they have Cook. Breece is ready to pick up where he left off. I mean, and even I think Aaron was talking about how when you see Breece run, you don't think he's fast, but he's slippery. Like all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, there, like how did you get there? Breece is so talented and so good. And again, he was on course to become the Offensive Rookie of the year before he hurt himself. But again, I think he would love to jump back in and be the guy he was when he ended, but he doesn't have to be right away, and they don't want him to be right away. So I think they're going to save him because, again, you need that at the end of the year.
I want to get back to the defense here. You mentioned Sauce. He didn't look like a rookie last year either. He and Diggs had some real battles in the games. What's he like to deal with?
He's the same way as Garrett, just a real nice kid. I mean, he'll talk to everybody. I mean, he was so excited when he was getting his diploma. And when you asked him, why are you going back to get your diploma? Because kids look up to me. I want to be that role model. I want kids to be like, hey, if he can go back and get his degree, I can too. Both Garrett and Sauce understand that they have a brand and they love their brand and they're good at it, but they're also good kids and they are good players and they're good teammates and they're just good people. And Sauce, but then it's funny because as soon as they get on the field, those two are the worst trash talkers. I mean, you're just like, whoa, that's coming out of your mouth? Like, they're just, and they're fierce competitors. But literally, as soon as they get off the field, they're like, hi, like very soft spoken, very nice. Like, it's really fun. The two of them together is going to be really fun to watch.
DJ Reed got some headlines when he mentioned he thought this could be a historically good defense. Is this team feeling it a little bit right now? I mean, that's That's a lot to say before a season even starts. As talented as this defense is, or do you think that's just goals they've set?
Hey, listen, here's my whole thing. And again, I'm married to a former athlete. He played with my husband played with Michael Jordan. So listen, maybe I have a whole different mindset. I would much rather a guy say, yeah, we're here to win a Super Bowl. Because what player and what team goes into a season thinking, you know what, let's just be 500. Let's just be happy with winning the division. Let's just, win one playoff game. I like that. I mean, and if you knew DJ, you understand that he's not arrogant. He's not cocky. That's how they feel and that's how they believe. And I'd want to be like a team as a media member of Covenant, I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes, guys. Like, come on, you're adding more fuel to a fire that you already have a huge target on your back. But they embrace that and they know who they are. And it is a great defense. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't think they have a problem with it. Like, I'd rather a guy come out and say, listen, I believe in this team. We're going to be this good. This is my defense. Than to be like, we have a lot to prove. Let's wait and see. Maybe that's just me again, though.
You brought up your husband.
Yes.
Now, everybody watched, Michael, and watched the documentary. But your husband, Scotty Burrell, did not seem to be a trash talker. Was there no room to talk trash on that team?
No, Scott's more of a trash talker than they showed. Hence why Michael was just, when Scott said, remember, I want to guard you.
Yeah.
But Scott understood that Michael was greatness, and you did what Michael said you did. I mean, there is no one like Michael Jordan. I don't think you can ever compare another athlete to him. And I think Scott realized, Scott was a very talented, athletically talented guy, but Michael Jordan had that work ethic and had that killer instinct. And Scott doesn't have that killer instinct. You have to be born with it, I think. So he enjoyed watching Michael and having Michael push him. And he loved the fact that Michael wanted him to be the best because he needed Scott to be the best. And he has a championship ring because of it.
Yeah, I found it really interesting. And obviously, there are so many comments about that show. And you must hear about it all the time.
My favorite is when people are like, oh, so why didn't Scott just punch Michael? Or why did Scott put up with the bullying? And Scott's like, what are you talking? Scott wasn't bullied by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan saw something and wanted him to be better. He's like, why wouldn't you want to be pushed by the greatest player of all time? He's like, he loved every second. And Michael and Scott are very close, are very good friends. So, I mean, it's not as if Michael hated Scott. They get along really well, and he pushed players to be the best.
Now, I was reading about you a little bit. You were an accomplished athlete. Your husband, professional athlete. How much does that impact the way you cover sports?
Thank you for saying I'm an accomplished athlete. He would say I am not an accomplished athlete. So thank you. I look at it, once I married Scott, I think I looked at it differently because I go to his back, because he's a coach now, when I go to his games and they lose and they have a horrible game and the players didn't play well. And you hear the fans and you hear people I'm like, dude, I watched him watch hours of tape. I see them practice. They don't go out and want to lose a game. They don't want, these guys work their tails off and they're studying notes. Sometimes they're just not as good. Sometimes they don't play well. Sometimes the chemistry, the best athletic team isn't necessarily the best team. So I think I feel as if yeah, you have a bad game. You deserve to be asked about it and you deserve to, but you shouldn't be destroyed in your whole, I just hate when people are like, you suck. You need to go somewhere else. You should be fired. It's dude, chill out. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's way too much of that these days.
And they're people.
Let's get back to the game.
The people. Sorry.
Exactly. Speaking of people who've gotten criticism, the head coach, Robert Saleh, what do you think it's going to be like for him this year? Because, he needs this, right? The way the league is. NFL stands for not for long. Very successful as a defensive coach, but you got to win in the NFL. Now he's got Arron Rodgers. How has he been? What do you think it's going to be like for him?
I mean, he hasn't really changed that much. He's a guy who likes a team to lead. Like he says, that's the type of team he wants to be. I think they are all very aware that they have to make it to the playoffs and they have got to win. I mean, they've been given everything they need to get to where they need to be. But Robert's a very confident guy. He's a very player friendly guy. He knows how to put it on when he needs to. He has great leaders. I mean, when you have Arron Rodgers leading the team, just like a Peyton Manning, or a Tom Brady, let's be realistic, that's a second coach. That's a second guy who you don't really necessarily have to worry as much about the offense. And you have guys like CJ Mosley on that defense. I think he understands that he has some really good leaders in place. So all I have to do is just kind of, okay, let's oversee this. Let's be the CEO almost. You take care of this, you take care of that, and we'll go this way. So, but again, I do think they realize the heat's on. I mean, I don't think it's Super Bowl or bust. I don't think that at all. But I do think it's playoffs or bust.
Last couple of things. What would you say the perception is of the Bills from the Jets side? I think the Jets have played the Bills really tough. Mm-hmm. Certainly last year they did. Beat them once, could have beaten them a second time. And the Bills have been that team that's been close and hasn't gotten there. What's the perception, at least in the Jets world, of where the Bills are now?
I think in the Jets world, the Bills are the team they need to beat. They're that team that they have to. I mean, they understand the AFC East is brutal. Let's be realistic. I mean, Miami Dolphins are no slouch. And again, the Patriots still have Bill Belichick as their head coach. So let's not write them off. But I think in Jetsland, when it comes to the Bills, they know the Bills have a really good team. And in order for them to be the New York Jets that everybody's thinking, this team's going to be, they got to get past the Bills. They have to beat them. Josh Allen, that defense. I mean, the Bills are a very, very good team, but the Jets need to prove that they're just as good, if not better.
All right, so last one. It's September 11th, obviously an emotional day for a lot of people, and it's the first day of the season. A lot of Bills fans will try or at least come down and have come down for the game. What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like combining first game, September 11th, and Arron Rodgers jogging out there in his Jets uniform? I
honest to God, I got goosebumps. Like, that's how I think how electric and how emotional and how I don't think I've covered a couple Super Bowls before. Like, I just can't imagine, because 9/11 is such a special a moment for New Yorkers. I mean, it's a time. I mean, it was such a terrible, terrible tragedy, and to be able to play in New York, September 11th, and then again, like you said, Arron Rodgers is making his first debut in the legacy white uniforms. I mean, fans when he was for the Giants game, preseason game, it took me 2 hours to get into the stadium. 2 hours to get into the stadium. I literally am going to have to leave my house at 2:00. I might have to leave earlier in order for me to be on time for our pregame hit for an 8:15 game. I mean, I just can't imagine what it's going to be like. And again, like you said, Bills fans travel. I mean, the last couple of games I've been to at MetLife Stadium, I don't necessarily think this time around, it's been pretty 50-50 Bills-Jets fans.
Yeah, Bills fans will want to get there, and they know how good the Jets are, and they'll all be interested in seeing how Arron Rodgers is. And I think it's great to have the rivalry take another notch up.
Yeah, I'm really excited because, like you said, the Bills are a great team. The Jets are a great team. Like, it's fun to actually talk about, like, oh my gosh, people want to see this game. It's a primetime game. How many years have you been able to say, oh yeah, the Bills are playing the Jets, 1:00 Sunday game? No one really cares.
Yeah, the Bills for years certainly were a Sunday 1:00 team. Now I think we have 3 1:00 games all season.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of miss those I kind of miss those 1:00 games because these primetime games and these 4:00 games aren't for me. I get home and a great time at the 1:00 games.
Oh yeah,
that's what happens when you cover a good team.
Coming up on Monday.
Are you going to be there?
Oh yeah, we will be there. We will see you down at the game, and we look forward to what happens. Bills and Jets coming up on Monday night.
Yeah, all I know is it's going to be a good game. Thank goodness. Or at least we hope it is.
Start the year. All right. We really appreciate your time. And people here get SNY. They'll see you on SNY. Jeane Coakley, check her out. She's the Jets beat reporter and our guest. We really appreciate your time. And to all of our regular viewers, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time here on Buffalo Plus.